What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be reacting to a video from Caspi about was OG Fortnite really better? Because obviously within the Fortnite community, the OG times, or chapter 1 times, or whatever people kind of consider to be the OG times, has been very hyped pretty much throughout the history of the game, even all the way back in like chapter 1 seasons like 5 and 6, and like even that point people were like being nostalgic about the old map or like misting Dusty or whatever landmark had changed. So this has been going on for a long time. We recently have had, 2 OG seasons in November of last year and this year. And then we're also getting an OG game mode and soon and on December 6th. So we are going to be going back to chapter 1 again. This time it'll be its own game mode. But I do think that it is pretty overrated at times.
I don't think it's an
and that's what we're going to get into.
exaggeration to say that Fortnite and its players have an obsession with the past. And I mean, can you blame them?
I don't think this is just exclusive to Fortnite, though. This is every game I've ever played.
When you're bombarded with page after page of nostalgia content, it's pretty easy to become, well, nostalgic. And with Chapter 1 permanently returning around the corner, I think it's the perfect time to ask the question, was OG Fortnite really better? So, leave a like and subscribe.
My personal opinion is no, but that time period in the game was incredible. Like, going back to Chapter 1, Season 1, I have absolutely zero interest in it. But that is when I enjoyed the game the most. Like, it was terrible, but we didn't know how bad it was because, it was all new and fresh to us. And that is kind of what makes that period of time so exciting. Like, we were all new to the game. The game itself was very new. A lot of us were new to Battle Royales, and so that was refreshing. And the way kind of Fortnite developed and improved over time, that's what felt so special about the game to me.
Use code Caspi in the Fortnite item shop and join the Discord linked in the pinned comment. Let's get into this.
The Cadillac, very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. The tax, yes, the tax. I swear to God, if you bought the
I've been playing Fortnite since the very beginning. I remember seeing the trailer on YouTube and thinking, damn, this game...
I started playing the second day it came out. I saw the trailer the first day Battle Royale came out, and then started downloading it and figured, like, I'll just play it tomorrow. And so, yeah, I've been playing for a very long time.
Looks kinda good. I've been there since the first Battle Pass came out, I've been there since the first live event happened, I've been with Fortnite through thick and thin. Essentially what I'm trying to say is this video isn't being made by a new gen player trying to look through rose-tinted glasses. This is an unbiased perspective, and within my time playing Fortnite, I have observed a pattern with the community. The Fortnite community is incapable, and has always been incapable, of appreciating what we have presently. Take Chapter 1 Season 5 for example. If you asked a player what they thought of this season, they would probably talk about it as if it's a god. Oh, it was so nostalgic, the summer vibes were all there.
At the time, this was one of the most hated seasons. So, like, you guys know now when a Fortnite season comes out and then it's the end of the world and it's the worst season ever created and we gotta, like, boycott and quit the game, that kind of happens every season. This was the first time that happened. Like, before, the community and, like, the reactions to new seasons was mostly positive. But this is when they removed double pump, and then they also had really overpowered SMGs at the time, and the shotguns were balanced around double pump. Like during Season 4, they kept nerfing the pumps and buffing the SMGs because double pump was so good. And then this season, they just outright removed it, but didn't rebalance the gun. So the pumps were really bad and the SMGs were really good, and a lot of people found that to be annoying. Like, I actually enjoyed this season quite a bit, even at the time, and I really liked the map changes. But the spray meta was like universally hated within the community.
It was just so fun and simple, when in reality, back then, when Chapter 1 Season 5 was happening, people hated it. Chapter 1 Season 5 was the beginning of the spray meta, the P90 was absolutely dominating the game, and with the removal of double pump, everybody was using SMGs. This led to a lot of players getting mad, and eventually the P90 and SMGs as a whole getting nerfed. But as a player who played back then, I distinctly remember people calling this the worst season ever.
He's 100% right.
About how it ruined Fortnite, how it is no longer Fortnite. And then Chapter 1 Season 6 came around and we had the zombies. The same thing happened. People were
I hated the zombies.
Complaining about the zombies, saying they ruin Fortnite, how they're really distracting, how they make endgame impossible to play. And
basically there was just zombies everywhere on the map that would just follow you around and attack you. Like, it wasn't in a certain spot or a certain area, it was just like there was hundreds of zombies on the map at all times. And like he said, it made playing endgame impossible because it would just like break your builds and stuff.
Community response to people who did enjoy the zombies was just as toxic as the current community response to people who enjoy Chapter 5. Oh, you're a shill. Oh, you're bad at the game. Clearly, you're just not good at the game. That's why you really enjoy this season. I mean, I remember as a kid getting cussed out by a guy because I told him I liked the zombies.
That might have been me.
Chapter 1 Season 7 introduced the play.
I hated this season. This season made me so mad at the time. This was like the beginning of me like disliking new seasons. I feel like there was better seasons after this too, but I feel like this was the first season that came out that I just really hated, I guess would be a way to describe it, or was like really disappointed. Even the prior season, season 6, like the zombies were annoying, but that was like later down the line. It wasn't day one. It was like the Fortnitemares update.
Planes, people
But I hated the planes.
complained, said they were ruining the game and how they could destroy builds instantly, same with the Infinity Blade, and same with the Boombox. Chapter 1 Season 9, they replaced the pump shotgun with a combat shotgun, and everybody's calling
And Tilted with Neo Tilted. Like, people were so mad that, like, there wasn't a regular Tilted.
it the worst season ever. And I don't think I even need to explain what people complained about with Season X. My point is that during all of these seasons, there were so many people claiming that these were the worst seasons ever, and now suddenly, years later, everybody's swearing to God that these were the greatest ever. And this pattern is an
He is right, though. Like, all of those things were, like, very controversial at the time. Like, they were like, you know how the cars came out and everyone hated the cars? Like, it was kind of like that, but not as extreme as the cars.
even exclusive to Chapter 1, it's continued to this day. People complained about Chapter 2 Season 1 because the map wasn't the same as the
It was 120 days long with no updates.
original. And then as Chapter 2 progressed, people continued to complain until Chapter 3 rolled around, and then suddenly it's nostalgia for Chapter 2. The same exact thing happened with Chapter 3 and 4.
So this also happens in Call of Duty. Like, you can just Google something. I'll try to remember to put it on screen now, called the COD cycle. And it's like a meme of people just like hating the game when it's out, or like liking it initially and then hating it, and then just looking forward to the new thing and then liking the old things again. Like, this same exact thing happens in other games.
As soon as those chapters ended, suddenly everybody was swearing up and down about how they were perfect. Especially Chapter 4. As soon as Chapter 5 rolled around, suddenly everybody was nostalgic for Chapter
I was pretty positive on Chapter 4 during its time. Like, I didn't like the jungle season, but Chapter 4 is my second favorite chapter. And even during the time, I felt that way.
4, even those people who were swearing that it was terrible. And ultimately, it feels like Fortnite players only enjoy a chapter or only enjoy a season once it's over, once it's in the past. The older a chapter is and the more nostalgia that surrounds it, the better it is in other people's eyes. And I guarantee you, if you give it a few years, people will be talking about Chapter 5 as if it was the greatest chapter of.
This is also why most people's favorite chapter is the one they started in. Because it's just like, that's when you have like the best memories of like learning the game and when it feels the most exciting. I think the main reason why this is the case, like, I don't think it's necessarily a nostalgia problem, but maybe this is a component of nostalgia. I think the reason why everyone feels this way, and it's not exclusive to Fortnite, is because multiplayer games have really annoying things in them. Like, there's always something annoying, and even if there isn't something annoying, like, the players are going to be annoying. And when we're months or years removed from that time period, the annoying thing isn't that annoying anymore, or you don't really think about that. Like, think about a game where you play and you land and then you get no shield and then you just get eliminated. Like, that sucks. It is what it is. But if you did that 10, 15 times in a row, it would be annoying and you'd probably stop playing, right? I feel like that's how it is with some of these like irritating items that everyone complained about. Like, when you're in that time experiencing it game after game after game, that's when you're going to be most irritated with it. But after a few years have gone by, people tend to just remember the positives. And I feel like this isn't exclusive to gaming. This is like true in everything. And maybe that is a component of nostalgia, but I think that is the main reason why. It's just the annoying stuff you don't feel the same way about it.
All time. And that's the main problem with nostalgia. Nostalgia makes you look at everything with rose-tinted glasses. It makes you ignore the flaws in place of thinking about it fondly. Chapter 1 was a deeply flawed chapter. There were many, many issues about it, yet so many people act as if it's perfect. Chapter 1 was an extremely slow burner. Season 1, 2, and 3 in hindsight are a lot more boring than people remember.
That's 100% true. Which is like why a lot of people like it, I think, is because of the simplicity. But the differences we got season to season with seasons 1, 2, and 3, people would be irate about these days. Like they'd be like, this season didn't change anything. What a waste of time. Season 4, I feel like was the start of when we started getting like map changes and all of that every season.
Remember. And it wasn't really until season
Like at
4
the
when
launch.
we actually got any sort of lore in the game. In my opinion,
Or the storyline, true. But I don't really care about the storyline.
Season 5 is really where Chapter 1 started to take off. And ultimately, I feel like too many people look at this chapter with rose-tinted glasses. They completely forget all the flaws that it truly had. And it's ultimately why I fear for the OG permanent game mode. Too many people look at this game mode as if it's going to be a absolutely perfect experience. When in reality, I guarantee you that so many people are going to fall off from this game mode purely based on how boring Season 1 and 2
Not even oh, wait.
were of Chapter 1.
Okay, yeah, he's 100% right about that. I agree. So if they're doing this OG game mode and they're going to do the seasons in order, which seems to be the way they're going to do it and what would make the most sense, Season 1 of Chapter 1, people playing that again are not going to like it. And I don't know how long they're going to do that because Season 1 wasn't even like a real season. It was like 30 days or something like that. Like it was not a real season. But the first 2 seasons are very bare bones. I forget what I thought he was going to say. Oh, what I thought he was going to say, and maybe he'll get to this, is another reason why I think the game mode won't sustain players that much or like sustain hype that much is that a lot of the people that lost interest in Fortnite and kind of fell out of interest with the game and stopped playing, people getting better at the game was like a huge reason why. Like so many people like blame sweats or blame sweaty players or blame everyone getting good at the game for why Fortnite isn't fun anymore to them. And that's a lot of why people, I feel like, overrate Chapter 1 is that everyone was terrible at the game. And like we were all terrible together. But either way, you can go back to like that map and loot pool and everything, but people have been playing Fortnite for 7 years. So the sweats are still going to be there, and that's going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. Like that is a lot of the charm of early Fortnite, I feel like, was everyone being bad.
That magical nostalgia of OG Fortnite is going to suddenly disappear, and I'm willing to bet that there are going to be tons of people who suddenly turn on Chapter 1. And if you don't think this is possible, well, people already
I feel like it already happened with the OG season we had last year.
switch sides for the vast majority of these Chapter 1 seasons. I already explained how all of these seasons had tons of haters, tons of people calling it the worst season of all time, worst chapter of all time. And now suddenly, all of these people have switched sides to claim that these seasons were amazing and oh, look at all the Christmas vibes in Chapter 1 season.
He's so right. Like I said, I hated the planes, and then people would be like, no, but it's Christmas vibes, you gotta like it. And I'm just like so disconnected from like the people I'm talking to about the game. Like I don't care about the holiday vibes, I just don't want to get ran over by a plane.
7 or the nostalgia. I'm not saying that Chapter 1 was bad. I'm saying the people who suddenly abandoned ship as soon as it became unpopular to hate on a certain Chapter 1 season, they're bad. You are actively skewing the public perception of OG Fortnite. Why are you suddenly switching sides as soon as it becomes unpopular to say that Chapter 1 season
Because they're not irritated by the things they were irritated about back then anymore because it's been so long. Like I've seen this happen with so many games, and I feel like this is really just what it is.
Season 5 was deeply flawed? Why are you now completely
Like those flaws don't stick out as much.
ignoring all of the issues of Chapter 1 in place of being nostalgic for it and acting as if it was perfect? You hated it when that season was out, when it was Season 7 or Season 9 or Season X. And suddenly, now that it's popular to be nostalgic about Chapter 1, you are switching sides. This is the problem with nostalgia. It makes people look at things through rose-tinted glasses. People remember Chapter 1 fondly because that's how nostalgia works. You always remember it better than it actually was.
I think he's kind of like saying the same thing that I was saying. Is that I feel like he did.
Let's take Chapter 2 Remix as an example. Leading up to the release of Chapter 2 Remix, everybody was swearing about how amazing this map was, how they were so
I was never a fan of the Chapter 2 map. And then even Chapter 2 Season 2, like people gassed that season a lot. I think it was good, but that's like what led to me quitting the game. Like I quit like less than a week into Chapter 2 Season 3 because burnout from this season being very long and not being like what I wanted.
nostalgic for it, how they couldn't wait to play on the agency. And now that we're officially back on the Chapter 2 map, people are noticing all of the flaws with the map. The map is way too big. It is incredibly hard to find anybody to fight during the mid-game. And during the endgame, pretty much everybody is hiding because they can't find anybody as well. So now that the rose-tinted glasses are off, people are starting to notice the flaws again. This exact thing will happen with the OG game mode. People will initially have fun and talk about how nostalgic this game mode is until they start noticing all of the flaws.
I feel like there's not really a problem with that though. Like with the OG game mode being added, I don't really have much interest in playing it. Like I'm sure I will at some point, like from time to time. I think when they do a new season switch for it, like it'll be, you know, exciting to check out. But like, I feel like kind of playing it for a bit, being nostalgic, reminiscing, and then going about your day, like that's not the worst thing ever, you know? Like I feel like that's kind of the whole point of this.
And after a while, that magical feeling of nostalgia for OG Fortnite will eventually fade away. People will eventually become bored with the idea of OG Fortnite and go back to playing the main game. Essentially, what
That's very good.
saying is people need to start appreciating what we have in Fortnite instead of what we had. Far too many people chase this idealized version of Fortnite that in reality does not and has never existed. Chapter 1 was never perfect. Chapter 2 was never perfect. Neither was Chapter 3, 4, and 5. The game's always had its flaws, but ultimately there are more upsides than down. And as a community, we can't continue only appreciating what was and not appreciating what is. And of course,
I agree somewhat, but I feel like the Fortnite community, I feel like has two sides where there's people that just like gas anything from the past, you know, and say it's the best because of nostalgia. But there's also the people that like hate on anything from the past and automatically praise the current for being the best thing ever. And I feel like neither is true. Like, yeah, Chapter 1 had problems. The current seasons also have problems. Like I fundamentally disagree that Chapter 5 was the best version of Fortnite.
Of course, there are aspects of Chapter 1 that are better than Chapter 5, but there are also aspects of Chapter 5 that are better than Chapter 1. And if we constantly
like both of those things are true, but people like make it out like it has to be one or the other, you know? Either the old is the best thing ever or the current is the best thing ever. And like I just think neither are true.
Embrace nostalgia.
There's good seasons and bad seasons.
Rather than appreciating what we already have, then we're not going to realize that until it's already gone. I'm not going to deny the fact that this OG game mode will be successful, just as the original OG season was very successful for the game, but I think the reason why it will be successful is because older players will be coming back to the game. Friends who haven't played the game for years will be coming back to the game and enjoying it with you. And ultimately, the main reason why people regard Chapter 1 so highly is because of this. You were a kid playing Fortnite after school with your buddies with not a worry in the world. You enjoyed the game not because Chapter 1 was perfect, but because you had buddies to enjoy it with, because you had friends to play it with. It's the same.
Yeah, I mostly played solos then, and I mostly play solos now, so it doesn't really like appeal to me. But I agree for a lot of people, when we got later into Chapter 1 and into Chapter 2, when a lot of people were quitting the game, that definitely did like impact the enjoyability.
Reason why Chapter 5 suddenly becomes so much better when you're playing with a friend, because ultimately Fortnite's a game that is better when experienced with other people. And at the end of the day, no matter how many times they bring back OG Fortnite, you're never going to be able to replicate that exact feeling. And the more that they do this, the more that they bring back OG Fortnite, the more that it becomes the norm, and the more that people become bored with it. Eventually, it'll become stale and people will lose interest in OG Fortnite. People need to stop focusing on what this game used to be and start appreciating what this game already is. And I think to a degree, Epic also needs to start doing this as well. Bringing back older Fortnite cannot become the norm whenever people start to become burned.
I feel like the way they're doing it now though is good. Like I don't know how I would feel about having an OG season at the end of every year like we have been, but like just making it a game mode and then it's there and people who want to play it can play it and those who don't. I feel like it's just a win for everybody. Like, devaluing the nostalgia of Chapter 1 really isn't, like, a concern of mine.
Burnt out from the game. Both the community and Epic Games need to start looking towards the future rather than constantly looking back.
I just disagree. Like, if somebody, like, let's say you're a person and you're excited for OG to come back and you play that and you enjoy that and you only ever want to play that, like, good for you. Like, you don't need to play the other thing if you don't like it. And then the inverse of that is also true. Like, the people who want Chapter 6 don't have to play the OG game mode.
Fortnite, what the fuck? What the fuck happened to the agency? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Why the fuck is fucking Snoop Dogg here? What the fuck?
This is the OG players coming back for Chapter 2. Or not even OG, but like, this is the Chapter 2 fanboys that wanted it to be pure.
Where the fuck is Midas? Fuck you, Fortnite. You ruined my nostalgia. Fuck this stupid fucking season. We want the real Chapter 2 to come back, not this stupid remix bullshit.
Fortnite is best when it focuses on evolving rather than looking backwards. And I feel like the
I disagree with that too, though. Like, change for the sake of change is just not universally good in my opinion. Like, the car season, for example, I didn't like that. And, like, just because it was different doesn't make me enjoy something I don't like.
community really needs to accept that going backwards will do nothing but harm the game. Is a temporary player boost really worth it? I also want to address a genre of comment that I've seen a lot on these kinds of videos, and it usually goes along the lines of, community wants OG Fortnite to come back, community gets Fortnite OG back. Oh, suddenly community doesn't want OG Fortnite and it's gonna ruin the game. These kinds of comments are extremely dumb, and they demonstrate to me that you didn't watch the video. For starters, I'm not the community, I'm an individual with my own opinions who likes to share them on the internet. And secondly, the community
That is true, though. I feel like that comment is kind of correct, though. Like, maybe it doesn't apply to him because he's, like, an individual and has his reasons, like he's about to say. But, like, there is a lot of people that want it, and then once they get it, they dislike it. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about before with, like, the annoying things being annoying. Like, it's not annoying when you haven't experienced it in a while, but once you have, it's like, oh, I remember this being irritating.
community is full of a diverse array of opinions. No one opinion dominates over the others. So when I share my opinion, this is not somehow the community being hypocritical and being spoiled and ungrateful. This is me sharing my personal opinion. I just wanted to say this in the video in case I get some of those comments from those types of people, so
That's
I don't
so
have to type
unfortunate.
them out every single time. Anyways,
The
that's
bush.
about all I have to say on this topic. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and use code Caspi in the Fortnite item shop. Follow me on Twitter, it's Caspi_FN, and join the Discord down below. And consider becoming a
the
member of the
exotic-
channel for $3.99
The exotic maven is griefing.
a month. But more than
Okay, wins.
anything, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys.
But yeah, that is going to be it for this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I personally said it several times. I think it's just people don't remember the stuff that annoys them once time has passed. And that is why every video game community kind of has the same thing going on that Fortnite does. That meme of the COD cycle was like a decade old before Fortnite Battle Royale ever came out. Like, this has been going on in other games for a very, very, very long time, especially multiplayer games. But yeah, his channel will be linked in the description below. Give this a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.